There's just something beautiful about the way that TenZ plays this game. He has a certain level of grace to his movement that just feels completely unparalleled. It's really something you can only see at the top rank in the game. Today, I don't particularly want to focus on how TenZ scales up versus the other best players in the game. Instead, what I really want to highlight is a bit more of the nuance behind his play that you'll just never find in ranked. These 3 tricks that TenZ takes advantage of in ranked are what results in his matches looking completely effortless on stream. And the best part is, they definitely aren't things that you can't replicate yourself. Let's get into it, starting out with our first round. TenZ is pre-aiming for a common jump peek from anchor players on C. Oftentimes, you'll see Omen players like to jump peek from default to spot out a push on C long. This puts them in a great position to fire off their paranoia in such a long quarter, and get maximum amount of value from it to stop a C rush. From this position, Omen players also can drop a dark cover in the middle of the site to prevent attackers from scaling back site. So this is just a very powerful setup that you'll commonly see Omen players use. TenZ is ready for this. He's not just randomly aiming, he's anticipating a very specific and common play. When the Omen makes a slightly overexposed jump peek, TenZ is there to punish it. None of the kills in this round alone are going to be absolutely mind-blowing, but it's all of the little things that he does that really stand out. For example, on the second kill, we want to highlight the placement of TenZ Leer. He positions his blind in a way that not only covers the immediate right angles, but also protects him from back platform. This is strategically placed to protect himself from the maximum amount of angles. You'll notice this pays off as he clears angles on site, while the Reyna hides platform trying to avoid the blind. Had TenZ placed his Leer further to the left, it's very likely this Reyna just opens up on him immediately and likely lands a double kill. Again, this kill isn't anything crazy, but it's the third and fourth kill that you're able to see some of the grace that we were talking about earlier. It's not just about landing shots, it's about how he makes it incredibly difficult for his opponents to even follow his actions. He jumps onto the platform and lands the kill onto Viper flanking, and then without missing a beat, shoots the Sova dart and immediately uses the movement speed with his knife out to get to an angle where Sova would never expect. By constantly switching up his peaks and keeping his movements unpredictable, TenZ creates a significant advantage for himself. His opponents find it challenging to fight back because TenZ is always one step ahead in terms of positioning and movement. He's always looking for ways to outplay his opponent, which constantly has them on their back foot. In fact, with how fast TenZ made this reposition versus the Sova, he likely would have even been able to make it all the way towards logs without the Sova having any idea. When you're moving this quickly like TenZ, it can make it feel like you're everywhere all at once. Movement like TenZ doesn't just come naturally though, and it definitely takes a lot of game knowledge to be able to play like this without just messing up your aim entirely. Luckily for you, we make it all super easy in our new movement Master in Minutes course. Here, we spill every little tip and secret that the pros use to move like gods. This course is designed to get you caught up to speed as fast as possible so that you can instantly fix your mistakes and start fragging in just over 10 minutes. We know this sounds too good to be true, which is why we also back our site with a rank up guarantee, meaning if you don't climb, you don't pay. Imagine that. It's like a local gym promising you'll get ripped. Yeah, not too sure how well that would work out for them, but we're able to offer this because our service has been around for years and is proven to work. Check it out using the description below for a discount, but other than that, let's hop into another round from TenZ, showcasing this exact same tactic that we talked about once again. We also want to highlight something that's been going on in the high elo meta for quite some time that every player needs to know about. This meta is going to be really hard to pick up on, so don't feel bad if you don't notice, but see if you can figure out what it is. Starting out, TenZ is pushing mid with a Sheriff. He quickly eliminates an enemy Yoru who over-peeks and then moves up, using his paint shells to force the enemy Skye back into vents. As he peeks into mailroom and engages with the enemy Raze, notice how once again TenZ demonstrates the same tactic as before. He initially unpeaks after making contact, then repositions closer to the corner for his next swing. Decisions like this is what separates a good entry fragger from a bad one. TenZ is protecting himself with this reposition. He doesn't just want to peek from the same angle twice in a row because it's very likely he's going to get taken out. You always want to switch up your position and just make it as difficult as possible for your enemies to keep up. Otherwise, that's how you end up getting one-tapped. Finally, TenZ finishes up the round with a third kill, securing his team a super critical eco. But circling back, what is this new meta that we were talking about? Well, recently, there's been a shift in high elo where teams will force up with a Sheriff in the second round after losing pistol. In the past, you may have heard the magic number for eco rounds is 3900, meaning you want to have at minimum 3900 credits for your buy rounds so you can get a rifle in full armor. Now though, the magic number has shifted to 3300, only allowing you to purchase a Vandal and light armor instead. By doing this, you risk having 25 less health on your buy round, which definitely can cost you, but it gives you an extra 500 credits to work with on eco rounds, which can make a massive deal. Think of it like this. Your odds of winning the buy round basically go from 80 to 70%, but your odds of winning the eco round go from like 15 to 40. It's a calculated risk. A few accurate shots can dramatically alter the round's outcome. It's important to note that this isn't just a tactic that TenZ is doing because he's playing in a lower rated lobby. This approach has become a staple in the current Valorant meta, and pros can constantly be seen executing this in their matches. Now before you say it, we do recognize that with the addition of the Outlaw Sniper, this could pose some risk to the light armor meta. But one thing is for sure, the Sheriff is still easily one of the strongest guns in the game for its price point. If you're able to land just one good shot and retrieve that player's gun for your team, you can easily steal the momentum in a match. Also, just think about how bad players are at buying in ranked. Teams are still treating it like the second round is free if they won pistol. From the team that won pistol in this game, Raze bought a Marshall, Yoru and Skye had pistols, Astra had a Spectre, and Cypher had a Stinger. I mean, seriously? They had one Spectre? When teams buy like this, they're basically asking to lose the round. Don't just throw away the second round after losing pistol. We can't stress enough how winnable it is. Force up a Sheriff, make sure you have 3,300 credits for the next round, and you will be surprised how often you win. Building on the idea that nothing is free against top tier players, let's dive into another round. In this scenario, what we're really trying to showcase is how TenZ will constantly abuse even the slightest gaps in the enemy's utility. This round begins with TenZ countering an enemy Reyna's Leer at A long, maintaining his hold on the angle. This really highlights how important Leer positioning is and why TenZ placement in the first round was so important. In this case, the enemy Reyna threw her Leer too far out, and it easily could have costed them. It's only after the Sova Dart and Snakebite come in that TenZ is actually forced to back up. Even then, you'll see he once again picks up the next best angle. TenZ is only going to pick up 2 kills in this clip, but just pay attention to how incredibly hard it is to deal with a high elo opper like this. You need to be so incredibly thorough with your utility, otherwise these guys will find the opportunity to land a kill. The crazy part too is that he literally never lets up. Immediately after landing the kill on Reyna, TenZ pulls out a shorty and starts pushing through the smoke in short. This man has the most expensive loadout in the game, but he's completely fearless. If you want to play like TenZ, you need to recognize that players like this aren't just going to respect the smoke you place down, or respect the Leer you threw. They will pick apart your play and take every single advantage they can get. You can't even get away with making minor mistakes against these guys, so you definitely can't afford to make major ones. For our last clip, let's take a look at one of the biggest mistakes players even in high ranks make during 1v1s that is constantly costing them rounds. First, we'll watch this round without game audio, focusing on TenZ's tactical movements. TenZ positioning around the pillar is crucial in this 1v1. He stays close to the pillar, minimizing the angles he's exposed to, and carefully jiggling around both sides. This isn't about going for an immediate kill, it's just about safely gathering information. During a 1v1, knowing where your opponent is basically the entire fight. Once you know where they are, it becomes much easier to deal with them. But if you lose track of them, that's when it gets dangerous. Now, let's slow down the footage and show exactly how TenZ goes about not only locating Yoru, but also keeping track of him afterwards throughout the clutch. After eliminating Skye, he jump peeks the right side of the pillar. Here, TenZ is using internal timers, a concept developed almost entirely from game experience. Let's say it takes about 5 seconds for a player to silently walk up either side of the pillar. By jump peeking the right side, TenZ resets this timer, ensuring he's safe from that side for the next few seconds. He then needs to check the left side to reset that timer as well. This tactic of jiggling and resetting timers continues until he locates Yoru. Even after spotting Yoru, TenZ keeps strafing around the pillar to maintain tabs on his opponent, preventing Yoru from closing in unnoticed. If you lose track of the enemy in a 1v1, you just repeat this tactic again until you find them. Or at least that's how it will work in theory. As you can see though, when we replay this clip with audio, that's not how it's going to work out all the time. Despite still applying the jiggling tactic out of habit, since the enemy Yoru just starts full sprinting at the other side of the pillar, TenZ eventually opts to pull out his knife just to reposition more quickly. The sound here is crucial. It's the difference between Yoru catching TenZ off guard and landing the kill, or him just playing ring around the rosy for 45 seconds until the spike explodes. Making noise in a clutch like this is potentially one of the worst things you can do. And although all the stuff about internal timers is incredibly valuable, if you're in lower elos and players just run everywhere like this, don't even worry about all that. Just know that whoever makes noise in a clutch first is generally going to be the one to lose. Alright though guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a bit more about SkillCapped. So we offer a 5 division rank up guarantee and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. We've offered this for years though, because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium Valorant guides on the internet. We add new courses every month with over 1,000 guides curated into over 50 courses. No one can compare. We also have a direct line of communication with subscribers in our Discord so that you can get connected immediately to some of the best players in the game who will respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that's going to be all for this one today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.